So there are a lot of movies coming out this holiday season. This is a normal thing, kind of, but I feel like we've seen something happen the past few years, which was there was a Star Wars movie coming out every December. And this year, there isn't. And I feel like a lot of movie studios are kind of going to war for that one sweet spot. Normally, when a Star Wars movie comes out, I think everyone just kind of gets out of the way. It's like when Rockstar ships a game. It's a big deal. This year was weird because Solo came out just right after Avengers, and it didn't do so well, possibly because of that, possibly because of other factors. But the fact that there's no Star Wars, no Avatar, no Hobbit, none of that's happening this Christmas.
Avatar. Come on, they're not going to do an Avatar anytime soon.
They're having an Avatar and Star Wars are going to fight next year.
We've heard about that for 25
Mark my
years.
words.
That's never going to happen.
Now this year, the weeks leading up to Christmas, we've got a kind of a crazy abundance of movies. On December 14th, there are two huge movies coming out. One is Mortal Engines, which is Peter Jackson's latest sort of monolithic special effects fest. This is a $100 million movie based on a popular book. It's sort of like there's steampunk roving cities.
Yeah, it's kind of Howl's Moving Castle-ish.
Yeah, but it's this whole fantasy realm. I feel like this could do, it looks cool, but I find myself having a hard time sort of caring. Like I feel like I know a lot of people have read the book. I've seen like kids at the airport reading the book, and I'm like, this might be sort of one of those things that I'm just missing generationally.
It looks really beautiful and inspired. I do hope it finds an audience because it looks like they're really putting a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how well this will connect with people. It bridges that weird gap between, like, I would say it looks almost young adult because I think I wouldn't bring a kid to this, but as an adult, it also feels a little bit sort of goofy and fantastical. So it's in that weird spot in the middle.
Right, and if it's a thing that like middle schoolers are really into, that their parents are like they're like, what is this? It's going to have some problems because it comes out the exact same day as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and obviously, what is it? Mortal Engines, which I just had to struggle to remember the name for.
Yeah.
Against Spider-Man, which has a massive, huge game coming out this fall. It's a character who's 35 years old. This is the second Spider-Man movie we've seen this year.
He's
not
35
counting Venom.
in this movie? That's crazy.
No, he's not 30. Actually, I don't know how old he is, but yeah, but it's a brand new animated Spider-Man film. It's animated, so that means that if you got the whole family together for Christmas, this is kind of a no-brainer to drag along the 8-year-olds and the adults, and everyone comes together, and everyone loves Spider-Man. It's gonna do. I'm so excited for this movie. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, this looks really
good.
So
the fact that that is just going up against Mortal Engines doesn't really bode well for sort of the lesser-known property. And then fast forward 5 days, in kind of the middle of the week, Disney's dropping Mary Poppins Returns. Again, another sort of household name. It's Mary Poppins. And she's returning.
She's returning.
She's back.
She's going to do that medicine thing
Yeah,
again.
I don't really know what. I've never seen Mary Poppins.
You're not missing much.
I never saw Mary Poppins.
It's fine.
I read the book. I had to read books as a kid. I don't know.
It's fine.
We didn't like. Yeah.
It's okay.
What is she like? I've seen this. I've seen the Simpsons parody more than I've seen the movie. Like I know more about. But yeah, this also looks like a weirdly dark angle for Mary Poppins.
It's basically Mrs. Doubtfire with penguins.
Is that it?
No.
Okay.
Not
well,
at
I don't
all.
know.
Not
Anyway, so yeah, this is obviously like a very. This has got.
Oh, the dude from Hamilton's in it.
Well, yeah, he plays the chimney sweep, which is kind of cool. They also how did that Christopher Robin movie do?
I think it did okay money-wise, but review-wise, it didn't do so well.
Okay.
I think a lot of people were like, it's too dark, which is like, it kind of looks like what they're going with here.
Yeah, which is sort of an odd place for Disney stuff to be. Like, when I think Mary Poppins, I'm like, this sounds like a nice, cheerful time. And
you can't look dead in the camera in a grim world like that and say a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine.
Yeah. Well, speaking of grim worlds, it's really December 21st, 4 days before Christmas, that's really the kind of, this is when everything comes together.
Yeah.
The most expensive movie on this list is Aleta: Battle Angel, which is sort of the closest thing to an Avatar movie we have this year.
Do you know that like the day after Christmas is like one of the biggest movie days of the year?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I've literally never seen a movie on that day.
I saw Rocky Balboa because it was Boxing Day, get it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Aleta: Battle Angel is the adaptation of Battle Angel Alita, which is a sort of cult classic anime anime/manga that James Cameron read a million years ago. It's all right. I like it. It's got some cool visuals in it, but as far as like kind of groundbreaking Japanese storytelling goes, it doesn't even really have a huge following over there. Like it's kind of one of those things that was one of the first properties that got snatched up and localized, and because of that had sort of a cult following stateside. The movie looks impressive, but I'm also like, I like the source material, and I'm lukewarm on this.
Yeah.
Selling this to everyone, also it's Robert Rodriguez directing, and it's got women with knives for hands. And
That sounds like a support group.
I feel like this is, I don't know if it's going PG-13 or R, but again, it's Christmas. It's going to be family time. I feel like this is going to have a very hard time, again, because it's not really the most well-known property. I don't know who this is going to get the attention of. I feel like this is almost destined to fail. I could be proven wrong, but I'm getting very much kind of Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets vibes from this.
Yeah, which means that you and I will see it and we'll be like, it's not great, but we enjoyed looking at it. And everyone else will be like, you guys are crazy. And
Yeah.
we'll see it again on Blu-ray and we'll be like, those guys were right.
And then it's coming out the same day as Aquaman.
Oh.
Yeah, so right there, it's got some competition.
Which could weirdly go either way, both review-wise and connecting with audience-wise. I will say that coming out of Comic-Con and seeing the trailer for it, I was like, bravo, you guys made something that's fun and gorgeous and vibrant. The fact that so much of this movie takes place underwater and has a distinct visual identity and doesn't just look like wet leather like a lot of the other DC movies.
Yeah,
have
there's
looked
some
like.
early buzz about this. I think they did some test screenings, and it sounds like it's very much sort of good, not great.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm basing this off a handful of tweets that are floating around. But one guy said that it feels very much like a Phase 1 Marvel movie, for better or for worse, meaning like
Good, that's where they
Cap
should-
the First Avenger or Thor 1 or
They should be
Iron Man 2.
They should be kind of soft rebooting that universe.
Yeah, I mean, all I want is, and I think James Wan went on record and said that this doesn't have any like teases of other DC stuff. It's a movie about Aquaman. It's not Aquaman: Dawn of New Gods or whatever. You know, it's not trying to just immediately kind of segue into the next thing. It's kind of actually giving him his some proper time. But again, unlike something like Spider-Man or Batman or Superman, Aquaman is not really the most well-known character. Like he's not. People know that he talks to fish. You know, he goes in the water. And again, that movie is opening up the same day as Bumblebee, the new Transformers movie. This is Transformers movies always do really well. That's kind of they've been dipping a little bit for the last 2 or 3, I think, but they've still made millions of dollars.
Yep.
This is the first one that's not being directed by Michael Bay,
Yeah.
which is huge. It's actually directed by, oh God, drawing a blank on his name. He's the founder of Leica Studios.
Right.
And so he has a background in animation, and they're leaning very heavily into this being kind of like an E.T. type movie. Like this is set in the 80s. Bumblebee is a Volkswagen Bug.
And I think what they're smart to do here is sort of distinctly, vaguely connect it to the Transformers or the Bayformers movies that you know about, but also have it stand on its own with its own identity, which is smart because, like, to be honest with you, I went from being like a huge Transformers fan as a kid, loved the animated movie, loved the TV shows, and then sort of apprehensively watched each movie deteriorate over time, and to the point where I just think they're like indistinguishable, like confusing garbage at this point.
Transformers has the same problem that the X-Men movies have, which is I think when they first came out, there was this fear that like the original classic designs would be too goofy for moviegoers, and that's why they put the X-Men in a bunch of like leather jackets and made them all look like tactical vests, and then over time, people are like, hey, superheroes are cool. And that's why you have the Avengers jumping around in colorful outfits, and the X-Men are still like, they wear a lot of, dark stuff. Transformers, when they came up, they're like, if you make like a giant colorful truck man, it's gonna look dumb as hell. So put flame decals on it and make every single part moving. This is clearly drawing from the original 80s designs. That is a Generation 1 Bumblebee. We got Starscream in there. If Optimus Prime shows up in this and he is a flat-fronted Mack truck with no flame decals, I will lose my mind. I will be so excited. And I mean, it looks like Bumblebee. He's got his little ears.
Yeah.
It looks like a little bunny.
Yeah, they're kind of nailing it, so that looks like a good time. But that's the same day as Aquaman.
That is the same day as Aleta Battle Angel, the same day as Aquaman, and it's the same day as Robert Zemeckis' new movie, Welcome to Marwen, which is kind of like this is a weird movie. This is about Steve Carell with PTSD making a giant World War II diorama in his backyard using dolls, which then start to come to life in his imagination.
Yes.
So it's sort of like an adult Toy Story.
It has Janelle Monáe as an amputee. It's basically an action figure movie, which like I'm kind of perked up about a little bit.
But it also
because-
looks like a total tearjerker.
Yeah, or like a a movie for your parents to watch on an
Feel
airplane.
good, yeah.
So I'll be honest with you. This movie is going to lose that day.
Oh, easily.
Other movies will lose that day, but this one will definitely, like, this is the kind of movie that I think would have had a chance elsewhere. Like, it's really interesting. It's effectively about Steve Carell trying to get revenge on a bunch of Nazis that beat him up. And he kind of went into hiding and started building sets and toys and building action figures from
This is
scratch.
based on a true story. Not so much the dolls coming to life,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
was
kind
gonna
of
say.
they added that part to it.
Yeah. It's got a very kind of Team America feel to it. So this might veer into accidental comedy.
I think
and
it's
that might
definitely
happen.
it's kind of.
I think like for you and me, like as like toy nerds, I think like we should probably have a couple drinks and go see this movie because that sounds cool.
I feel like we're gonna be in there with like people's aunts and uncles, and they're gonna be crying. This seems like the kind of movie like my stepmom would tell me I have to see, and I'll be like, okay, fine. Okay, so of these movies, which are you gonna see? Like, which is your first one you're gonna go?
On that day?
Here's a graphic of what those 2 weeks look like. I made a helpful graphic. I think it's helpful. And Santa Claus is in the theater. He's drinking.
What is that elf doing?
It's topping off his big old cup of the whisk.
That's disgusting. Okay, it's easier for me to tell you.
Also, he's had a few, so he's rosy in the cheeks, and he's
Easier for me to tell you.
facing the wrong way in the theater with a chair.
What is that logo? Welcome to Marwin, Bumblebee. I'm gonna skip Mary Poppins. Don't care. Don't get mad at me. I'm going to skip. I probably won't see Mortal Engines in theaters. I don't think I'll see Aleta unless someone's screaming at me like I have to. I will definitely see Spider-Man. I will probably see Bumblebee. And if Aquaman is like an excuse to get day drunk with my friends and watch the Seahorse Man battle.
We always get so there I am to say I am the father of
Hey, look, you can finally grow a beard.
Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Santa Claus. I don't know why I sound like this.
And I'll definitely skip Welcome to Marwin.
Yeah, Marwin, welcome to Marwin. I'm like maybe if somebody we know gets like Oscar screeners and that gets like nudged into like best sound design or something.
Welcome to Marwin, Bumblebee.
Yeah. It's a weird year. You know, it's like I feel like there's always a bunch of big stuff that comes out around Christmas, but like I think up until The Force Awakens, like that was not really these are summer movies that are coming out around Christmas, which is unusual.
Well,
Aleta was actually supposed to be I think supposed to be a summer movie and it got pushed.
Movies have the same sort of quote-unquote problem that video games have right now, which is a bunch of them started to launch sporadically throughout the year, connected really well, made a ton of money, and then people said, oh, we can just do this all year. Ho, 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 it is I.
That's
Chris
awful.
Kringle.
Terrible. I think it's weird that we're getting
what a time.
a Transformers movie at Christmas. I think wasn't there like one that came out in November before Thanksgiving?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Who can know,
it's
really?
Odd. It's very odd. So yeah, that's this Christmas's lineup of holiday films, or whatever the holiday you're observing. I call it Christmas because I think this picture of Santa Claus is funny. But let us know what you think is going to be the victor of this big holiday showdown of the movies. Is it going to be the Fish Guy, Truck Boy? Is it going to be the Steve Carell and his dolls, the adult Small Soldiers film? Is it going to be Mary Poppins and her dark return? Is it going to be Lord of the Rings' new truck film? Is it going to be Spider-Man and his friends in the webs? Who knows? Movies, they're great. We like them.
Welcome to Marwin, Bumblebee. So, you've made it to the end of the video and now you want more. Well, good news, we made more. Here's a video about why Solo flopped. There's a lot of reasons, it's not just the ones you think. After that, speaking of movies that will definitely flop, they're making a whole bunch of prequels to The Sandlot. I am so angry about that. You have no idea how pissed I am. Actually, I'm a little better now, but in the video we made, I was much angrier. But you can watch that now. Thank you so much for watching Up at Noon, every Thursday noon, Pacific time on IGN. It's a great show. Tell everybody about it. We have a really good time. Say hi to your whole family, because I think they're doing some good work raising you. Special man.